Doomers. They got a point. We are obliterating the earth right now. The climate is getting worse every year. The animals are dying off. The Amazon is burning. And everything has got plastic in it. It doesn't seem like anything's gonna get better either. The rich get richer and the poor get crumbs of cheese left over from the revenue measuring contest.
Here to see a knockout.
Who's the big boy?
I'm a big strong boy. Say it again.
I'm a big strong boy.
Again! I'm a big strong boy! Get in there! Human cockfighting isn't just...
Speaking as a permanent resident of the internet, it really does feel like this world is going to shit. With the internet and the world opening up to all of us, we've gained a new way of thinking. Many ways. So many ways. And here's the doomers. Dooming, just waiting for the world to end. And the furries all the way over here just having a fursuit orgy. This is gonna sound stupid, but the furry mentality could be the antidote to hopelessness or the cure to doomerism. Before we get to our furry friends, I would like to unpack the doomers first. Let's try to remember the last time you listened to someone complain about work or relationship or anything that caught your attention.
Please stop murdering people!
After I hear how distressed they are, I tend to internalize these scenarios deeper. A little more than when people talk about how cute their little doggies are.
Just tell me how stupid you were so I don't have to make the same fucking stupid.
We are evolved to look for threats. It helped us avoid potentially life-ending things, like getting killed by some plants and berries, or look out, faggot! That's why we love tales and fables. The lessons we learn from these stories helped us survive and protect us from embarrassment and trauma. Like those stories about how women would get raped and murdered when they walk alone at night. Even the news do the same thing.
Pounding rain down south, mudslides out west, wildfires.
Estimatedly 10,000 emperor penguin chicks in the Antarctic have been
also
killed.
shows the armed person entering a church office.
That's the number of Americans currently living in poverty.
We choose one of these threats to fight to give ourselves some kind of larger purpose. But we're presented with so many threats to our existence. Should we fight the bigot? What about child abuser and poverty and hunger and climate change or human extinction? But if we're really comparing, then it's just a sliding scale of severity. Personally, I get a little dizzy trying to make sense of these big threats. For most of us, we already have enough of these little problems to deal with. And that's also the thing. Given how accessible information has become, it feels like a responsibility to know about these threats. We urge each other to be more aware of more problems. And there's these little things that we can do to help.
Here we go again.
AI.
I'm not me. I mean, I am me, but I'm not me to you. And that's kind of nuts.
But I've been thinking about Patrick's pen is a lot lately.
Explosion is a process of destruction by collapsing inwards of the object itself.
Where explosion expands.
That constant exposure to the news dramatically distort our perception of threat. Cause when everything is important, nothing is. But why would the news dramatize climate change? Isn't it already dramatic enough? Look at the stats, look at the science.
But 3 degrees of global warming would be catastrophic.
Heat waves, droughts, extreme precipitation, even fire. 3 degrees of warming is really disastrous.
The planet has warmed by roughly 1.2 degrees, and we're seeing that reflected in the oceans. Of course, of particular concern to people on the coasts.
1,000 peer-reviewed scientific papers found a 99.9% consensus that climate change is mainly caused by humans.
While it is a consensus that science deals in facts, but nobody wrote a handbook on how to use those facts. And even more importantly, is how we feel about those facts. And here's why this is important. Because those that want to believe will always find a reason to believe. And there's quite a lot of reasons to believe in something.
The desires themselves are dishonorable. Enough already with this gay Christian stuff. Because they exchange the truth about God for a lie and worship and serve the creature rather than the creator who is blessed forever. Amen.
If he's holding it up at 23 feet high and we're seeing the light, well, that's because the Earth's curved. So I should only be able to see it when it's at 17 feet. Enrique, how high is your light?
17 feet.
I mean, lift up your light way above your head. Interesting.
But hold on, doomerism is not a religion, it's not even a community, or even a cult. It's actually a bit worse. Doomerism is a conclusion derived from damning evidence. The very foundation of our societies are built on the destruction of nature. Driving cars destroy the atmosphere. Just getting grocery is an unethical act. The thing is, doomerism might seem like a factual statement, but that's just one way to think about it. Even if we have all the knowledge that we can have and shove it into some quantum laptop, it still won't be enough to predict the future. Cause reality is always changing. So how are the doomers so sure that we're fucking doomed? But I think the real reason is a lot less convoluted than that, and much more personal. The constant shitstorm in a doomer's personal life reaffirms their belief. Every new information they get is just another evidence of how shitty humanity can be. What doomers are really lacking is hope. And the real danger is, if people believe in doomerism too much for too long, it can make you kill yourself. I don't mean like actually unaliving yourself, What I mean is more of a philosophical suicide, as described by Albert Camus. So he wrote this book, a hot take on the classic Greek mythology of Sisyphus. Here's a summary from Amazon in case you don't know what I'm talking about. Sisyphus is a naughty worker. He took too many bathroom breaks. Zeus gotta show him who's boss, so he raised the quota. Now Sisyphus got an 80-hour work week, rolling this heavy boulder up to the mountain peak. But then it would slip out of his hand and roll back down. So he pushed it up again, and down again, and up again, and down. Multi-purpose energy drinks are provided as refreshments and encouragement.
Sponsored by Zeus Prime.
Sisyphus should be happy that he gets to work in this economy. And he doesn't even have to waste time taking a toilet break. And so he does it all over again, pushing boulders. Then it would slip out of his hand and roll back. Doomers to me are kinda like Sisyphus, pushing a boulder called climate change, political unrest, uncertainty, and gloomy future. We all know it's useless to think about those things. There's nothing to do about it. But we also can't help but think about it. When we push our boulders every day and still don't see any impact, your life will confirm itself to you that nothing you do matters. The only question left to be answered would be, to be or not to be. Either live in eternal suffering or embrace the sweet release of death. But hold on, Camus wasn't actually all sad and gloomy like a doomer would be. I mean, yeah, he still gotta push that dumbass boulder for no good reason. But you know what? Sisyphus has gotta be happy. And that happy Sisyphus is a
You like to have fun too?
I mean, you know,
Darn it, Woody!
What is that?
There's so many things out there to do in this world, but these wonderful folks choose to match to some dragonness. But before a person could become a furry, there are hurdles they have to face. They gotta search themselves through denial. Why do I wanna fuck little honey? And self-actualization. There are also external conflicts. Social norm that they have to break. Embarrassment. Scrutiny.
Hey, I love this guy. Fucking furries.
Hate threats. Death threats. All kinds of threats. Some would even say it's morally questionable to be a furry. It's borderline bestiality, isn't it? Should furries even exist? The more I think about it, the more absurd it gets. It's expensive to be a furry. It takes hard work. Like, who has that kind of disposable income and choose to be a furry? Just rent a yacht, travel the world. But nah, they got a fur meet on Thursday afternoon at a Target parking lot. The existence of furry is just absurd. Cause it takes a lot of commitment to become a full-fledged furry. And that's hard work and copious amount of copium and thick skin and fur, I suppose. And most importantly, cringe. Because the willingness to accept cringe could be the cure to doomerism. But why would they be cringe though? When I see cringy shit, I just want to crawl back to my mom's uterus. Nobody likes cringing. Cringe is what I'd consider a social suicide. Normally, if you're being cringy in public, everyone will think that you've got loose bolts in your head and should immediately be taken to mental asylum. It's absurd to think that a person actually has to practice Uwu dialect and actually wanting to fuck Ugandan knuckle. So when a person actually embodies these desires, normal people gonna be cringing hard. For the furries though, they have their own reasons to be a furry. By wearing a fursuit, they immerse themselves in a separate ego, a fursona. That is when they get to let themselves live however they want without any real consequence. Kinda like LARPing. Being a mascot. Cosplaying, even gaming and reading. Furryism is a form of escape. And I think what they're escaping from is the world of rationality. People keep telling furries to stop being cringy and be normal. But furry knows normal doesn't mean happy. They liberated themselves from the expectation that society imposed on all of us. Cause cringe is a rebellion against rationality. But furries could only have that realization after they rejected rationality and taking the leap of faith.
Just relax. This is my first time with a carnivore too, you know. I want to see how far it goes.
Right. Hate to leap of faith.
Let's say maybe you're suddenly inspired to become a furry and you buy the fursuit and you go to the furry con the whole 9 yards. But the next day, every one of your normal friends leave you, your girlfriends dump you, and your dad's disappointed. What the fuck? The price of becoming a furry might not be worth it to you. We will never fully know the consequences of our actions until we try it out. And that is the leap of faith. There's really no way to tell which faith or ideologies would make you happy. And I don't think being a furry would make most people happier either. But comparing these two, I think there's an interesting observation to be made. One finds meaning in the absurd, and the other succumbs to the void of the absurd. And I think the biggest distinction boils down to choice. Doomers didn't have any choice. Up until this point, their life has kind of been decided for them. And it's been pretty disappointing. Given their situation, doomerism is the only logical conclusion they could come up with. On the other hand, furry choose to be a furry because they like being a furry. Yeah, that's it. And that is exactly the mentality that doomers are lacking. They choose to stick with rationality, thinking that there's rhymes and reasons to everything in this world. And ironically, that's what got them so disheartened in the first place. Cause doomers got so many good reasons to doom. And so it feels like they've got no choice but to doom. All doomers gotta realize is, we don't have to have any good reasons to do anything. Cause sometimes the things that makes us happy doesn't make a damn sense.
Get out, guys! I got my own persona!
Hey, I need to confess something. I am oversimplifying a very complicated subject. Cause if I'm being real, nobody can pinpoint the causes that led doomers to cope in such a self-destructive manner. It's probably a combination of many things, like loneliness and disappointment and instability and uncertainty and so many bullshit, I swear to God. However, we know that doomerism is just a belief. And it's not more true than believing in God or that we might save ourselves from extinction. In the end, our beliefs are just stories we tell ourselves so we can keep our hopes and dreams alive. But by examining doomers through the lens of Albert Camus philosophy, it sounds like doomers took a leap for the faith called doomerism, not knowing what's at the bottom, so they fell to their death. And that's the thing. It's always an option to stop believing in something and find something else to believe in or to work for. When Camus is talking about suicide, he's actually looking for the meaning of life in the dumpster that is death. And what he found is the furries. I mean, I'm making that shit up obviously, but seriously, furries managed to do something only a few of us could. They found their purpose, which is attending the next furry convention and showing out their persona or whatever. But no matter how stupid that might sound to you, as long as it makes them happy, isn't that good enough of a purpose to live for? And on that note,
I don't give a fuck about your sleazy attitude. I don't give a fuck about your bitchy attitude. You're talking this and that, this and that. Bitch, I'ma cut you off. You're talking this and that, this and that. Bitch, I'ma cut you off.